Welcome back, everyone. The Toronto Raptors might have a problem, and unfortunately, if the reports can be believed, that problem has to do with one of their best young players, which is none other than OG Anunoby, a guy once thought to maybe be the future of their team. He ended up taking a back seat at times throughout the past season, and according to Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report, that did not make him very happy. Fisher reported that OG Anunoby is not satisfied with his current role. It's widely believed that OG Anunoby is looking to become a primary option, but with Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., and even Scottie Barnes ahead of him in their pecking order at times, it's often left him feeling an off-ball type of role. And that is something that he is not looking to do, which really leaves the Raptors with a very difficult decision. They can either trade someone to free up a bigger role for Anunoby, or trade Anunoby himself to get a different player to fill that role, and to prevent any future locker room problems that he might create. I mean, they could maybe try and tweak their offense to give him more opportunities, but with their current team being made up of so many talented offensive players, it might be hard to do that without making a different player angry. In my opinion, they should do everything in their power to make him happy again, and to try and keep him as a part of their future moving forward. But if they are not able to find common ground, then they do need to think about moving him, as they could potentially get a huge return package for him. OG Anunoby is only 24 years old, and while he is not quite an all-star caliber player yet, he is not very far away from it. He is already an elite defensive player, and he's only one step away from being at that level on offense too. Again, I definitely think they should hold on to him if they can make things work out, but in today's video, we are going to explore 3 OG Anunoby trades that the Raptors could make if he does end up demanding a trade. But without further ado, let's dive right into trade number 1. And here we have a deal with the Indiana Pacers, which would involve trading OG Anunoby, Khem Birch, and the 33rd overall pick for Myles Turner or Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Duarte, and the 31st overall pick in the upcoming draft. We have to trade Anunoby to a team that could offer him a bigger role, and he could immediately become a number 2, or maybe even number 1 option by going to Indiana. And although the Raptors may not be getting a player of his caliber in return, it's not like Turner and Duarte are scrubs. In fact, their combined productivity could potentially help the Raptors more than Anunoby. Myles Turner could be the help at center that they are looking for. He is an absolutely elite rim protector, a good lob threat, and can space the floor for them too. He might be a bit of an injury risk, but with his value currently being lower due to that, now would be a great time to trade for him. He can be a big contributor when healthy, and would appear to be a great fit for their team. And then with Chris Duarte, no, he may not be on the level of Anunoby, but he could actually fill a fairly similar role compared to him. He could be that 4th option for them on offense, and be a great defender while doing it. In addition to all of that, I think they might be able to move up a couple of spots in the draft here as well. No, it may not seem like much, but going from 33rd to 31st could give them a better chance at getting the player they want. Now, I'm not sure if Indiana would be willing to make this trade, as they have not been one of the teams who have been linked to Anunoby up until this point, but I can't imagine they'd say no to him either. Now moving on to trade number 2 though, and here we have a deal with the Houston Rockets. This one would involve trading OG Anunoby for Christian Wood, KJ Martin, and the 17th overall pick in the NBA draft. With the Rockets being widely expected to be taking Paolo Banchero, they could be looking to move on from their current power forward, Christian Wood. Although, I don't think he would be enough to acquire OG Anunoby straight up. They would likely have to include an additional player and draft pick to acquire a guy of Anunoby's caliber. The Raptors might have to include their 33rd overall pick for this one to go through, but I don't think it's that crazy to believe happening. The trade would theoretically benefit both teams. The Raptors would get a productive, versatile big man with Christian Wood, which they need by the way, and then the Rockets would get another piece for their rebuild. Along with that, the Raptors have already been lightly rumored to Christian Wood, and he would appear to be a good fit for them. He can defend the rim, rebound at a high level, and is a great 3-point shooter too. All of which fits their ultra versatile type of lineup, and although KJ Martin would kind of be a throw-in player here, he would provide them with a productive, athletic wing to bring off their bench. And then on top of all that, being able to move up that far in the draft would be a luxury for them. Doing that could allow them to add another legit piece for their future, which would all be complemented by the fact that they're trading Anunoby to an out-of-conference team, as they likely don't want to match up with him any more than they need to. But now moving on to our third and final trade, and here we have a deal with the Spurs, who, by the way, are reportedly the team with the most interest in acquiring Anunoby. And given the frequent and fair trade history between the two of them, it's not that hard to believe that they might make another deal, especially when that deal would involve a player that closely resembles a young Kawhi Leonard. And this one would include OG Anunoby, Khem Birch, and the 33rd overall pick going to San Antonio, and then Josh Richardson, Jakob Poeltl, Keldon Johnson, and the 20th overall pick going to Toronto. And honestly, I don't think the Raptors would complain too much about this one. They would get a good replacement for Anunoby with Keldon Johnson, the rim protector they have been looking for with Poeltl, and then a productive 3-and-D wing with Richardson. All of which would only be complemented by potentially being able to move up in the draft, because if the Spurs really want OG Anunoby, then they're probably willing to move down in the draft to get him. In fact, the Raptors might even be lucky enough to outright get a draft pick from them without having to give up one. I mean, the Spurs do own 4 draft picks in the top 40 alone, so I can't imagine they'd be too unwilling to part with one of them. And if they were, that would likely be enough to get this deal done. A package like this one would be very hard for the Raptors to turn down, and especially if they did not even have to swap a pick to do it. No, Keldon Johnson may not quite be on the level of Anunoby, but when you throw in Poeltl and Richardson, that would be enough to make up for it. And in my opinion, the Spurs would likely have to be the most beneficial and realistic trade partner for them if they do indeed end up trading Anunoby. With all of that being said though, that will conclude the 3 trades that I think the Raptors could benefit by making if OG Anunoby wants out. And what do you guys think? Which of them was your favorite? Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to those of you who took the time to watch until the end of this video, and until the end of all of my videos in general. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.